territory of what is Hungary today was already populated in the prehistoric times. Among other places, the limestone caves of the Vértes, Gerece and Bükk mountains, as well as the Buda Hills were home to hominids, including archaic humans and later prehistoric peoples. The mountainous regions provided shelter, while the fertile plains around the Danube and the Tisza used to be important migration zones for 10,000s of years. In Rudabánya, in the northern Hungarian mountains, archaeologists found bones of Rudi, a Rudapithecus. These chimpanzee-like apes inhabited Europe during the late Miocene, approximately 10 million years ago. The fossils of a 300,000-year-old Homo erectus, referred to as Shamu, found in Vérteszőlős, and other significant excavation sites like the cave of Istáloskő near Szilvásvárad prove the presence of the direct ancestors of modern man in the Carpathian Basin. Around 800 BC, the territory of Hungary was inhabited by Iron Age populations who belonged to the Prescythian Novocherkask culture and the pre-Celtic Hallstatt culture. The most important archaeological sites connected with the Hallstatt culture are located in the forests of Sopron. By the 4th century BC, the Pannonian Basin was occupied by an Illyrian tribal people called Pannonians and by Celts, who built their settlements and fortifications all around the western and central part of the country, such as on top of Gellért Hill in today's Budapest. The area west of the Danube was part of the ancient Roman Empire from 9 BC to the end of the 4th century under the name Pannonia. The province included modern Hungary's Transdanubia region, as well as the eastern territories of Austria, Slovenia and some parts of northern Croatia too. Later, under the reign of Emperor Trajan, the territory of Transylvania, which now belongs to Romania, was conquered too and became the Roman province Dacia. At that time, Pannonia was divided into Upper and Lower Pannonia, the latter having Aquincum as capital. During the ancient Roman period, the provinces of the Carpathian Basin were strongly influenced by Greco-Roman civilization. Towns and fortifications were built, in many cases on the ruins of or near the settlements of the Celts. A well-developed post and road network was built. The Danube served as a border between the empire's Pannonia and the neighboring territories, or, as it was regarded by the Romans, a border between their civilized world and barbarians. Numerous military camps were established to maintain order along the river. On the territory of present-day Budapest's Óbuda district, the Romans founded the city of Aquincum, which became capital of the province Pannonia Inferior. Remains of Roman architecture, such as the amphitheater, roads and ruins of private and public buildings are still visible in some parts of Óbuda. To protect the other side of the border, another Roman town, Contra Aquincum, was established on the territory of today's Pest, near the Elizabeth Bridge. The Roman colony Savaria, the forerunner of the modern city of Szombathely, was a significant settlement along the historical Amber Road, a trade route which once connected the Adriatic and the Baltic regions of Europe. Later it even became the capital of Pannonia Superior. The remaining walls and houses, as well as temples, are remnants of one of the greatest empires in human history. The archaeological park, together with the Iseum, the sanctuary of the Egyptian goddess Isis, is the most iconic landmark of the city. Emperor Constantine the Great visited Savaria several times. Tradition has it that Savaria was the birthplace of the famous Roman Catholic saint, Saint Martin of Tours, whose veneration has had great influence on regional identity as well as on universal Catholicism. The territory of Sopron was also populated by Romans. Originally founded by the Celts, the ancient Roman city of Scarbantia was one of the most significant settlements along the historical Amber Road. The ruins of Roman houses and streets are still visible in the basements of some downtown houses, as well as in the archaeological park behind the city hall. The most important finds, including gravestones, sanctuary altars, as well as the giant marmoreal statues of Jupiter, Juno and Minerva, the main deities of the ancient Romans, are exhibited in the lapidarium at the main square, which was built upon the ruins of the old Roman Forum of Scarbantia, which gained the rank of municipium under the reign of Emperor Vespasian. Under the name Sopiani, the city of Pécs was an important administrative and economic center and a wine-producing settlement, which, after the division of Pannonia into four, became the seat of the district Valeria and later a center of the early Christian religion and culture. In the first period of the history of Christianity, followers of Jesus Christ were spreading his teachings in the Roman Empire illegally. As a monotheist underground movement, it was detested by the emperors, who persecuted Christians all over the empire. But shortly after, following the reforms of Emperor Constantine the Great, Christianity was recognized as a tolerated religion. Then a few more decades later, it even became the state religion of Rome. The early Christian community of Sopiani began to grow. They founded the first basilica just on the site of the current one. Their cemetery, having survived almost 1,800 years, is the most significant remaining early Christian necropolis in the world, outside Italy, making the archaeological finds a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Besides Savaria, Scarbantia, Sopiani and Aquincum, a number of other significant settlements were established on the territory of today's Hungary during the ancient Roman times, such as Arabona, which is Győr today, Brigetio, near modern Komárom, and Gorzium, which is often called the Hungarian Pompeii, due to the large surviving archaeological site near the village of Tats. The Romans lost their influence in the area in the second half of the 5th century, which then became the center of the Hunnic Empire under Attila. Legend has it that the mighty ruler as well as his bloodline was related to ancient Hungarians, which gained special importance during the upcoming centuries of Hungarian history. Attila made the territory the center of his empire, and according to tradition, he died here on the night of his wedding and was buried in a secret place. After the fall of the ancient Western Roman Empire, the so-called migration period made a great impact on Europe. Many Germanic tribes crossed the region, such as the Ostrogoths, who founded their kingdom here, following some tribes of the Japids, Lombards and Slavs, who moved to modern Hungary's territory too. The Avars founded their khaganate in the mid-6th century, which became a mighty power and often fought the neighboring realms in the upcoming 2 centuries. But the Avars were weakened by constant wars and the threat posed by the newly born Frankish Empire in the west, which under Charlemagne defeated them in the 790s. The Frankish established a principality around Lake Balaton as part of their empire. Another strong new empire, Bulgaria, was born in the vicinity of the Carpathian Basin, which took over the rule of eastern parts of the former Avar Khaganate. Later, by the unification of Slavic principalities in areas mostly in today's Czechia, Slovakia and Hungary, the Greater Moravian Empire was established, which rose to being the dominant power in the region as the first Western Slavic state in history. In the end of the 9th century, a new tribal alliance originated from the Pontic steppes in the easternmost regions of Europe appeared at the eastern passes of the Carpathians, the Magyars, or most commonly Hungarians. According to the medieval chronicles, the Pass of Verecke, which lies in Ukraine's Zakarpattia region today, played the most important role in the occupation, although latest research projects have revealed that southern routes through Transylvania were significant too. The origin of Hungarians and their language is still disputed among scientists and even politicians and laymen, but according to scientific research, the tribal alliance were of multi-ethnic origin, involving and merging Turkic and Finno-Ugric tribes and peoples during their migration through the Eastern European plains from the Caucasus and Uralic regions to the Carpathian Basin. The language itself has a core of Finno-Ugric grammatical heritage, but was strongly influenced by Turkic languages throughout its early history. Unified via the Covenant of Blood, the alliance of 7 major and a number of smaller tribes, under the leadership of Grand Chief Almos and later his son Arpad, managed to defeat armies on the ruling empires in the region in a series of raids during 892–895 and conquered the Carpathian Basin. The Hungarians destroyed Great Moravia and managed to take over in the Pannonian Basin by 907. This was the beginning of the more than 1100-year history of the country we know as Hungary.